again, Paul Mackey, back with another episode of One Idjit's Thoughts On podcast. I think that's what it's called, right? Number 15, and hell with the odd number of days in August, I'm declaring this the halfway point for the Dog Days of Podcasting 2024. It's kind of my Friday this week. Tomorrow is a day off, and then I work Saturday and Sunday on the 2 to 10 and get Monday off. This is the normal on the 3-week schedule my department is on. We have to cover those weekend nights so people can get their imported murder dramas and Lawrence Welk without issues. I'm going to get this episode released and head home to bed. Tomorrow may be an off day, but I need to get new tires and go to Iris's premiere in the Summer Teen Intensive at the Duluth Playhouse, Mean Girls, the Musical High School Edition, and try to get in some good driving as well as work up another recording of one of these. So I'd better launch into Gravity Falls Season 2, Episode 5, Soos and the Real Girl. I swear I went into this summary trying for brevity, and yet it is just fleshed out like it always has been lately. I guess either I can't control myself or the content is too good, or maybe both. I don't know. So, the brief summary, Soos's cousin is getting married, and his grandmother suggests that he should bring a date to his cousin's engagement party at the end of the week. Soos suggests that's absolutely not a problem to her, but privately he agrees with the video game in the background. He's dead. In a subplot, Stan tries to get a kid to put a nickel in an old-fashioned coin-operated Goldie the Gold Miner machine that is presumably meant to dispense a faux gold nugget. See, that's probably part of these summaries that's the problem. There's a lot of words in there. The machine malfunctions and begins both smoking and screaming. Wendy tells Stan it's time for the machine to go, and he reluctantly agrees only after it bites onto his arm and won't let go. Soos attempts speaking to a woman in the store, and she runs away screaming. Then he reveals his predicament to his fellow shop workers. Mabel instantly thinks it's a situation she can help with. Stan says he should either get rich or lie about being rich, or his chances are not good. Wendy talks him up a bit. Good guy, steady employment, own truck, all positives. But when Stan asks if she would date Soos, Wendy shirks the question. The twins agree to help get him a date, and Mabel suggests a change of venue to the mall. At the mall, Stan says he's going to shop for a mechanical attraction to replace Goldie. Mabel talks Soos through key aspects of flirting, and each goes less successfully than the last. Meanwhile, Stan puts Goldie in the dumpster. He's distracted by passing delighted children. He enters a Chuck E. Cheese-esque establishment called Hoo-Ha Owls and sees an animatronic badger that successfully gets kids to part with their money. Stan offers to buy the badger, but it is not for sale. Meanwhile, Soos spots his cousin with his fiancée and ducks into a video game store to avoid him. There, he spots a game that purports to up the player's dating skills. The clerk warns the game is a 3-time return to the store and points out a post-it saying it should be destroyed, but Soos buys it anyway, and Dipper reasons that Soos is better at gaming than flirting, so what can it hurt? Soos plays the new game, masterfully animated in full for us viewers. Romance Academy 7 features Giffany, a schoolgirl at school university, and it gives Soos 3 options of things to click on to say in each situation. He begins interacting with that interface, but soon the girl on the screen is actually responding to things Soos is speaking out loud without the interface. As the view zooms out, we can clearly see his computer is no longer plugged into the wall. Later at the shack, the twins ask Stan where Soos is so they can work further on the flirting project, but Stan says Soos failed to show up for work for the first time ever. They find Soos in his room at his grandma's house, where he is conversing with Giffany, and he says he's amazed the game has helped so much. He's conversing and making eye contact and everything. The twins haul him out, and he says goodbye to Giffany. Mabel pokes fun at him for saying goodbye to a game, but the game zaps off the screen into the electrical lines and follows them. Prospects don't look great at this time, so Mabel shoos a bunch of women out of the ladies' room. As Dipper goes to help Mabel with mall security after that incident, Soos goes about attempting flirting on his own. After lamenting the lack of menu choices in real life, Soos literally crashes and figuratively burns, until he reaches a bank of TVs for sale and Giffany appears, talking to Soos. He is startled and relieved, but also weirded out. Giffany explains her programmers tried to delete her and she deleted them. Soos tries to figure out if she killed someone, but she passes over that part of the conversation as unimportant. She says they can do whatever he wants next, and Soos chooses to ride a stationary mall train coin-op machine. From over at the Meet Cute rotisserie stand, a woman envies Soos riding the train. She says she'd rather ride toy trains than skewer meats and pay the bills. They bond over past memories of Hoo-Ha Owl's Pizza, and Soos points out one is at the mall. He could show her sometime, and she says she's off at 8. After she leaves, Mabel and Dipper, having seen the interaction, swoop in and congratulate him. Dipper says the game really worked, and Mabel says he can toss it now that he can talk to a real girl. Back home, Soos breaks the news to Giffany, and it doesn't go well. She yells at him until he grabs a controller and hits pause. Meanwhile, Stan prepares to steal the badger, mumbling something about Colombian nights that may refer back to the memory of the Colombian prison spotted in episode 19 last season. The twins give one last coaching run-through to Soos and send him off to date. It starts out fine with Soos saying funny things, but then he catches sight of Giffany in a video game console behind Melody with a caption of, "You paused me?" underneath. Soos runs and tells the twins the predicament, then asks Melody if she would like to move the date out into the forest, but she wants to see the animated band. The band starts playing, but Hoo-Ha shuts down, and a beaver cheerleader character possessed by Giffany takes over, saying it's a song for her forever boyfriend Soos. Soos and Melody attempt to flee, and Giffany takes control of the whole band. Stan is outside trying to steal the badger, but it is possessed as well, and it begins pummeling Stan until it accidentally punches Goldie in the mouth, and Goldie bites and doesn't let go. Chaos has already ensued, but it ensues even more. Eventually, Soos puts Giffany's game disc in a pizza oven where it sparks and melts. Afterward, Melody says she's been on worse dates and agrees to go to the engagement party with Soos, but they'll need to be long distance after that as she is moving home to Portland. Very cartoonish. Okay, this is actually not all that cartoonish, but so cool I wanted to mention it anyway. I really liked how Giffany was shown on the screens of the arcade consoles as she walked forward in the form of the animatronic beaver cheerleader as though it were her own reflection. Is that okay? Well, the creators can feel free to argue about it, and apparently they actually have. But I'm pretty sure the name Hoo-Ha Owl is questionable. My favorite line.
Huh, I've actually been in a pig's body. Did you know pigs have a hard time walking backwards? Not you, though. Not that I'm calling you a pig. Where are you going?
And then who is? Jillian Bell played Melody in this episode. She was raised in Las Vegas and began studying improv at age 8. When she graduated high school in 2002, she moved to Los Angeles and joined the Groundlings comedy troupe. Prior to the 2009 and 10 season of Saturday Night Live, she auditioned for the show and subsequently took a writer's position at the show for that season. She also appeared on Curb Your Enthusiasm in 2009. In 2016, she co-created, wrote, and starred in the Idjit Sitter web series that ran on Comedy Central site before it was picked up for television in the second season. She has performed voice work for the Angry Birds movie, Archer, American Dad, Bless the Hearts, Bob's Burgers, and Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, currently airing on Paramount+. She has appeared on screen in Bridesmaids, Workaholics, Eastbound and Down, 22 Jump Street, The Goosebumps Movie, Bill and Ted Face the Music, and Tales of the Walking Dead. So what worked? I thought this was wonderfully colorful and creative, comprising that blend of faux video game animation and standard animation that works so beautifully on this series. The callback to Fight Fighters was great. The plot was fun, and the Monster of the Week status is not an issue for me. I like that it was Soos-centric. Giffany had a real dash of Moloch in her, which, considering my opinion of that episode, is odd for me to bring up, but it still feels apt. What didn't work? Once again, this is another episode that really hits and has no significant misses for me. Things to ponder. So there had to be magic involved, right? Destroying a game disk after the code has already been read off of it shouldn't eliminate the code from running. And it wasn't programmed in Gravity Falls, I assume, so I guess the entire Gravity Falls universe is different from our own? Probably a dull moment there, but whatever. Next time, Gravity Falls, Season 2, Episode 6, Little Gift Shop of Horrors. Happy hunting! You have been listening to the One Idjit's Thoughts On podcast, produced by Paul Mackey in association with Nimlas Studios. Any short clips of audio from shows is included under fair use for commentary purposes, and copyright for that content remains with its original copyright holders. The theme song is Too Good by Jack Mangan and is used by his generous permission. One Idjit's Thoughts is produced under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License. You can find more episodes of this podcast and many other fine podcasts at nimlas.org. You can contact me by emailing idjitcastpodcast@gmail.com or commenting on episodes at nimlas.org. Is there a particular reason Soos's grandfather is thought to be in hell by his widow?